Welcome in, episode 125. What's Right with Nick Wright, the podcast, the YouTube show, and I want to spend a moment here right off the top talking about the YouTube portion of that, because we set a goal out, I don't know, a few months ago, to try to, by the end of football season, get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I was very confident we were going to get there initially. I then became a little less confident eventually. And then over the last month, we have had rapid growth thanks to the folks watching right now, the folks that promoted it, and we officially got there shortly after Monday's show. It is a legitimate, awesome accomplishment for everybody involved in this show. From the folks at Blue Duck that produce it, that make it more than just a podcast, for DeMonze, who's grown into co-hosting it and become a real personality on it, for me as a passion project of mine to go kind of hand in glove with what I do on television. And the fact that now, no matter where we go from here on this, because, to be totally candid, there are some potential changes coming to the show one degree or another, because DeMonze is moving to Los Angeles sometime after the Super Bowl. What that means as far as how we're going to do it, is his seat going to be filled by my wife, by his little sister, by his littlest sister, who is really, really positioning for the job, but I don't think I don't think she's getting the call. If DeMonte is going to do it somewhat, some of the time remotely from LA, that's not fully fleshed out yet. But the fact that I got to partner with him, and in the time frame of, have we been doing this a full year? I think it's just under a full year, because we weren't doing it last football season. We started March of last year, April of last year, and to now be at 100,000 subscribers in less than 1 year, it's just tremendous. Yeah. It's gratifying. It's awesome. We greatly appreciate it. And what I would like to do as a thank you to the folks who watch us on YouTube, Monday of next week, we can maybe do at the very top of the show a traditional show. But then for the bulk of the show, I want it to be what we do at the end of the shows, which is the listener Q&A. I will jump in the chat during the show and just kind of respond to whatever topics people want, to kind of old school live radio style when we had a text line and a call-in line and people could call in or text in. You won't be able to call into the show, but you guys can put in your comments. Today we will do that at the end of the show, but maybe Monday's show we'll do the entirety of the show like that, or 90% of it, and then Thursday we will be doing the show live from the Super Bowl in Arizona. And so all of that, we're very happy. I'm incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly thankful. What do you got going on?
For you.
Oh,
from Blue Duck.
Oh, our friends at Blue Duck Media.
You
know? We're popping bottles. Oh, we got some champagne. How about that? Look at that. What'd you say?
Nice bottle.
It is. I'm sure it's a beautiful bottle of champagne. It's a little early for me to be drinking. I know people like champagne at breakfast with mimosas. Not really my thing. But I'll just set that here, and we can, you know what, maybe I'll let you, I don't know. I feel like maybe that could be a good, like, fourth date thing for you with somebody.
Good fourth date.
Yeah, just bring it over when you pick the young lady up. Be like, hey, I brought you this.
Yeah.
And just give her a bottle of fancy champagne. That could be good.
Just give her the bottle?
Well, that's what you do. Like, yeah, you give them, and then if she wants to toast with you or something, that's fine. But this is great. We really appreciate it. Now let's get to the actual show. Here is what missed the cut in today's show. The Texans make a great decision and hire DeMeco Ryans, a Texans legend. He gets a 6-year contract. I think it's a great hire, smart by them. Josh Allen, too injured to play in the Pro Bowl allegedly, not too injured to play Pebble Beach in golf. That's fun. And Patrick Mahomes will be on First Things First later today. We actually recorded that yesterday, and that is going to air at 4 p.m. Eastern sharp on First Things First, our first television interview with Patrick Mahomes, as I have randomly, thanks to here's what's funny, and then we'll get to the actual show. So the Chiefs evidently love me. I figured they should, but I didn't quite know it. But sports media, it's just so funny how things work out, man. It feels like 90% of my industry, the sports television talkers, are fighting for the same corner. I am going to be the loudest and most prominent Cowboys supporter, or I am going to be the loudest and most prominent Cowboys detractor. Everyone fighting for that same piece of real estate. Meanwhile, I'm surveying all the available real estate, and I'm like, there's this team that happens to play in my hometown that has a guy that all of us seem to acknowledge might end up being the greatest player ever. And that real estate is totally unguarded.
Yeah.
And so 4 years ago, I staked my claim, being a lifelong Kansas Cityan, always loving the Chiefs, and believing in Mahomes. And for the last, I guess 5 years ago I did it. For the last 5 years, I've had my crew ready on alert that, hey guys, we might have to fight for this corner one day. We might have to repel some attacks. And somehow the entirety of sports media has just ceded me the ground. They've all just decided, like, oh no, Nick is the Mahomes guy. I'll be the Josh Allen guy. I'll be the Justin Herbert guy. There was fighting over who gets to be the Tua Tagovailoa person. Meanwhile, the Patrick Mahomes corner was just given to me. It's unbelievable. You were trying to say something. I apologize.
No, I forgot. What a predicament you would have been in if Mahomes went to the Cowboys.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. I would have respected the talent, but the reason I'm a Mahomes guy is because he plays for my hometown team.
City.
Yeah,
Right.
and then, man, his dad went on, one of my best friends in the world, guy, hosts radio in Chicago named Danny Parkins. He does afternoons on The Score. Also does a great podcast that you guys should subscribe to with another great friend of mine named Andrew Filipponi called First in Pod. The people that produce that podcast, not quite as great as the folks at Blue Duck. In order to find that podcast, you literally have to type in first with the number 1 ST space ampersand space pod. If you spell out First in Pod, it doesn't show up. Not great for subscriber growth, but it's a great pod. He had Patrick Mahomes' dad on the show 2 days ago.
Okay.
And Patrick Mahomes' dad said that the Chicago Bears told Patrick they were drafting him at 3. Committed to drafting him at 3, and then traded up from 3 to 2 and drafted Mitch Trubisky, which is why Mahomes, when he scored a touchdown against the Bears, counted on his fingers 1 to 10. One other Patrick Mahomes fact that this is not like breaking news, but it seems like, my guess is the vast majority of the audience does not know this. I bet even the producers might not remember this. Everybody knows the Chiefs had Alex Smith when they drafted Patrick Mahomes, right? I think people know that Chiefs team was quite good. So how did they end up having the 10th pick of the draft? It was because during the draft, they traded up for Patrick Mahomes. So that then brings the question, does anyone here remember or know who traded away the pick that became Patrick Mahomes? The answer to that question is the Buffalo Bills. Nobody ever thinks about that little what if. The Bills, who needed a quarterback, were on the clock with a chance to take Patrick bleeping Mahomes and traded the pick to Kansas City. What they got back, it should be noted, was the Chiefs' first rounder, which in that year's draft was like the 27th pick, and the Bills with that pick ended up taking Tre'Davious White, who's an awesome player, tore his ACL last year, but was an all-pro level corner, and they got the Chiefs' next year first-round pick, which they ended up trading, and the next year they drafted Josh Allen. So there was, when people remembered this, the brief narrative of, oh, both teams won. Spoiler alert, folks. Only one team wins when you trade away the pick that becomes Patrick Mahomes. The team that got Patrick Mahomes. There is a bit of, the Dallas Mavericks traded up in the draft for Luka Doncic. They traded away a future first-round pick and the 5th pick of the draft, which became Trae Young. Nice player. People are like, oh, both teams won. No, both teams did not win. The one team got a nice player. The other team got a guy who's going to be one of the greatest players in the history of the league. Same thing happened in this situation. One team got a nice player in Josh Allen eventually. The other team got the guy who might go down as the greatest player in the history of the league.
Second best quarterback in the league.
So who? Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No respect for Joe Burrow. No respect for Jalen Hurts there again. By the way, second straight year, and then we'll get to the actual show. Sorry. I think we're 15 minutes in. We haven't even gotten to the rundown yet. Second straight year, the Buffalo Bills finish in 7th or 8th place. And I know that you might be like, how do you call it 7th or 8th place? Well, here's what I know. They were in the final 8 teams, right? They lost for the second straight year to the team that then lost in the next round. So if we got to figure out of the 4 teams that made the divisional round, if we were to put places on them, well, the guys who would finish in the bottom of that would be the 2 teams that lost to the 2 teams that then lost the next round. Last year they lost to the Chiefs, who then immediately lost to the Bengals. This year they lost to the Bengals, who then immediately lost to the Chiefs. I guess now we can start the show, now that I got my cursory Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills slander in that no one saw coming. Devontae, what are we starting with today, 20 minutes in?
Story of the week. At 0 subscribers, Tom Brady unretired. At 100,000, he unretired.
He re-retired.
He retired, yep. Sorry. What a journey it's been for all of us. Much less fun for Brady, obviously.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have this type of ending in mind. If he could do it all over, do you think he would make the same decisions over the last few years?
Okay. So, this is where I am going to show. I'm going to take this in a far different direction than I think people expect. So, the narrative is that Tom Brady sacrificed things that might have included his marriage in order to pursue football. There is an amazing Seth Wickersham article that came out yesterday that really gives us more details on what happened between he and Giselle than I have seen anywhere. And Seth, who wrote a book on the Patriots, who knows Tom, who's interviewed Tom a ton of times, did Tom versus Tom, all that stuff, basically says it was the football. It was what we all suspected, that the football, that she was fed up with how committed he was to football and how it never seemed like it would end. That it was, that when he won the Super Bowl in Tampa, she said to him, what more do you have to prove? And he kind of blew her off. And they write in the article about how Tom would wake up in the mornings ready to go attack the day, and she would already be mad at him and ask him, is this a family day or a Tommy day? And it talked about how
somebody other than Tom Brady said all this?
Seth Wickersham wrote all this, but Seth Wickersham wrote a book on Brady before, knows Brady, is a great reporter. It seems, it's not like some tabloid stuff. This is a real journalist that clearly has these relationships, that knows these things. So here's where I'm going to say the, I think, unpopular thing. If you are in the running for the greatest in the history of the world at something, there is an argument to be made that your responsibility is to your own talent more so than even your wife and children. Doesn't mean you can treat them poorly. Doesn't mean you neglect them, any of those things. But okay, this is again where it's going to sound crazy to some people. I don't view this that differently than if the greatest astronaut in the world, they were like, listen, man, you're the only person who we can send to Mars. You're the only one who can handle the job. You're going to be gone for 4 years till you come back. There is an argument to be made that that person has a responsibility to society to take on that charge. And Tom Brady was trying to do things no athlete had ever done. It did not sit well with his wife. That is her prerogative, and she is in a unique position because she was one of the greatest in the history of the world at her thing, and she paused it all for the family. Got it. I think the kids will understand when they get older. I think that there are certain things where it is not the same as if you are a mediocre or mid-level corporate lawyer and you're working 100 hours a week to create no legacy at all because you're obsessed with your job. You are the best ever at something. You had a stated goal. I am going to play until I'm 45. You wanted to reach it. I get it. Now, I understand some people feel like, well, but if he would have just retired 2 years ago, maybe he's still married. Who knows? Certainly he has the same number of championships. Yes, but you know what he doesn't have? The ability to say, yes, the peace of mind to say, I accomplished everything I said I was going to. One of the things he said he was going to do was play until he's 45. He wanted to do that. And again, I'm not trying to compare myself at all to Tom Brady. I am not the greatest sportscaster in the history of the world. However, what I will say is this. It has been, over the last decade of my life, and your mom and I are coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary and 15 years together, a habitual burr in her saddle, if you will, that there is no level of professional accomplishment that I can achieve that results in me throttling down, that results in me taking my foot off the gas a little bit. She is convinced that the majority of people in my field don't watch all the games. And she's right. She is convinced that I could probably keep up maybe 95% of the accomplishment, success, all of it, with 50% of the work. And she's probably right. But that's not how I'm wired, and that's not the game that I've ever been in. The game that I've always been trying to play is, will there be a moment in time? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Will there be a single moment in time where if you did a Family Feud style, ask 100 sports fans on the street who is the best sports talk guy there is, where I get the most votes? I have not gotten there yet. I'm now in the conversation. Now if you ask 100 people, I get a few votes. But I'm not Colin. I'm not Skip. I'm not Stephen A. And what can be frustrating for our loved ones when that is your standard is even if and when you get there, you probably then change what you're chasing next. And it can be incredibly difficult on the people around you. It can be not the best thing for your children. And I'm not Brady, but I think we have some similarities as far as drive goes. And these are the sacrifices you make and the decisions that you make if you truly want to be the very, very best. And you hope that for your children, there are some positives that come along with the negatives. One is usually some financial independence, that you can give them some money, that you can help them out. Another is the foot in the door professionally in places. And another one is that they are inspired or take with them the lessons of how hard you have to work at anything to be great at anything. And so it's like a push and a pull. Like while I was chasing my job, you were spending your senior year of high school without me. I was back and forth on the weekends. That was not good for you. So I have to own that that was a selfish decision by me for what I wanted to do that hurt you. But and I know you don't blame me for that. You don't hold any bitterness, but I hold bitterness against myself for it. The hope is, in the long run, we at least make it even a bit. While I've been chasing my job, I didn't with Diora, your sister, like, probably push her as hard as I should have on a lot of the, like, college and school stuff. I was focused on me. And now she's navigating that. And I help her as I can. And I don't know why I'm emotional right now, but, like, I see the stuff people are saying about Brady right now, and I think a lot of it's bullshit. Like, oh, you sacrificed your marriage to go 8-9. And I just don't think people understand these are not easy decisions. These are not easy things. And people know, we are at times putting ourselves first in a selfish way that you're not supposed to as a parent. And it's what I learned from my own dad, right? My own dad, who I have massive admiration for, absolutely put me and my sister at times on the back burner to negotiating the best bargain possible for the Kansas City firefighters. And his legacy, he's a great dad who I adore. His real life's legacy is not the things he did for me and my sister. His real legacy is the things he did for those firefighters and their families. So, like, you have those push and pull things, and you make decisions, and you deal with the fallout of it. And when I hope that what your sister missed out on maybe I could have helped her a little more academically, I can make up for in maybe when she's pursuing her acting dream, she sees the vigor and the resolve you have to pursue anything with. And that's what I'm sure Brady, I'm sure that's what Brady is hoping for his kids too. And it's really sad that he and Giselle didn't make it. Again, we don't talk about these things, but it's public, and I think it's out there. And I hope somebody, if there's anybody that is in Tom's orbit that vibes with this podcast or is aware of it, I hope somebody sends him these last 10 minutes. Because bro, I get it. And that farewell video of him alone on the beach, choking up, that's hard, man. Because it is now over. And now he is just alone with those decisions. And you do wonder, was it worth it? Did I make the right decision? And you don't know. And so I empathize with you, man. And while, I rooted against him about as much as I've ever rooted against any athlete ever, I understand what he was doing these last few years. I totally get it. All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Well said. Brady and LeBron?
No, let's just move on to Sean Payton. Yep.
All right, so Sean Payton is officially heading to Denver. Once again, Denver has a coach plus a quarterback who may end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I know your Chiefs are in the Super Bowl right now, but you got to be at least a little worried.
Again, let's just already start the reason the Chiefs aren't going to win the AFC for the 35th straight year. I like Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton's a very good coach. I think this is a team that did not have draft capital to lose, and they just spent a first and a second on a coach. Now, I understand doing that, and I do think Sean Payton will get the most out of Russell Wilson.
Yep.
But I don't think that's good enough. Even if Sean Payton's worth 4 wins, which is massive, not good enough. And the idea that what happened to Russell Wilson was because of bad coaching, I think that means you weren't watching him the last few years in Seattle. It was a steady decline the last few years in Seattle. People overrated and overvalued that Broncos roster coming into the year. Yes, this is a good hire. Yes, Sean Payton will do a good job. But I'll be totally honest with you. I am thrilled that Sean Payton did not wait for the Chargers job to open up potentially in a year from now. Because Sean Payton plus Justin Herbert, that concerns me to a degree. Sean Payton plus Russell Wilson, the Chiefs will be fine. Again, the Chiefs have not lost to the Broncos since Obama was president. They're not all of a sudden, that's true. We've had 1.5 presidents since then. The idea that the Broncos are all of a sudden going to be coming for the Chiefs, I don't buy. All right, next.
All right, you're convinced no one in the media cares about LeBron breaking the scoring record. If he had made that layup against Boston, he'd be 2 points closer, by the way.
Oh, my God.
This week, he cracked the top 4 all-time in assists, and no one seemed to care. It didn't really seem like he cared either, by the way. If the NBA was scripted like people were saying the NFL is, how would the NBA scriptwriters have LeBron break Kareem's record?
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the NBA is not scripted. However,
the NFL is.
No. Of course the NFL is not scripted. It was Arian Foster was joking around and nobody got it. But while it's not scripted, LeBron can kind of script this out.
Yeah.
Because he can decide which games he wants to
He's
play.
the type of guy to do that.
And 1,000%. So here's what I was very confident. Here's what I know. LeBron James is not breaking this record Saturday before the Super Bowl against the Warriors on national television. And the reason he's not breaking it Saturday before the Super Bowl is because then it gets no media attention at all, right? He's not doing that. He's just flatly not doing that. He's not going to have this record fall and
Just
it not
ball,
be a story
man.
Anywhere. What?
Just ball.
Okay, well, I'm not a guy who's going to end up playing more games and more minutes than anyone in league history. I think he's just balled plenty. So they play the Pacers tonight. He's 89 away. I don't think he's going to break it in New Orleans on the road. So there's 2 games at home he could do it. The Thunder game on Tuesday or the Bucks game on Thursday, which is on national television. I am going to guess LeBron targets breaking it for the Thunder game Tuesday night, and here's why. Because it then allows that full day, that to be a massive discussion point. The next day, it to be the only discussion point. And Thursday on TNT on national TV, it's the first game with him as the record holder, and it is a huge story. Why would he not want to break it Thursday on national TV? Because then the next day is the day before the Super Bowl, or the Friday before the Super Bowl. It's not a huge topic, and then we have the Super Bowl and it's forgotten. So I think Lakers Thunder is the game I would want tickets for. Lakers Thunder on February 27th is when I think this record is going down.
No, so you can bet on this actually. OKC's plus 200, Milwaukee minus 120, Golden State plus 340.
Okay, Golden State is a 0% chance.
Yeah, I mean
he would have to miss multiple games, and he's not going to.
Right.
They have no back-to-backs. What?
I find it's not even that this is his plan, but it probably is. I just find it kind of how much more coverage? Dude, you're LeBron James. I feel like the Super Bowl is going to happen. You're going to get coverage no matter what.
Yeah, we want more coverage.
Yeah, dude, it's just
breaking Kareem's record. His record is held. Kareem's broke Wilt's record. How about
if the record is that important to everybody?
Yeah,
it gets coverage no matter
the
what.
Sports media is biased against LeBron. We all know this.
Okay.
Hey, what do you guys? You just said it. The guy just became top 5 assists all time. Nobody talked about it.
He said I'm cool off that.
Yeah, but it's the media's job to cover these things. The media has just decided to pretend LeBron's not having the year that he's having. Oh, Nick, but they're not winning enough. When he plays, they have a better net rating than the Bucks. When he's off the court, they have a worse net rating than the Hornets. So when he plays, they're an A1 contender. When he doesn't, they're the worst team in the league. Oh, but Nick, he should play more. He's played more games this year than Steph or Durant. Find a new slant, as they would say. So I would bet the OKC game. All right, next.
All right, the Super Bowl is 10 days away, and the Eagles still haven't had a true test this year.
It's unbelievable.
Must be really nice to cruise to the championship untested. I don't want to say they're in danger of being frauds, but do you think that they deserve being favored over Mahomes?
Listen, the Eagles have the advantage at every single spot on the field except for quarterback. They have a better offensive line. They have a better defensive line. They have a better group of pass catchers. They have better running backs. They have better secondary, better linebacker. Now, if you want to break down pass catchers into wide receivers in one group and tight end in the other, then the Chiefs also have an edge at tight end.
Right.
But if we're just saying overall pass catchers, your wide receivers and tight ends, it's the Eagles by far. The question is twofold. One is, can Mahomes be magical? And the other is, how great is that Philly defense really?
On the big stage.
Well, it's not their fault, but these are the quarterbacks they have faced. Okay? Goff, Cousins, whoever the Commanders were starting that week. The Prince in a rainstorm. Remember that one? Prince kept
the
fumbling.
fumbles? Yeah.
Kyler, Cooper Rush, Kenny Pickett, Davis Mills, whoever the Commanders were starting that week. Was the Colts game Matt Ryan, or was it? I don't even remember who was starting that Colts game. I'm gonna check right now.
Colts.
It might have been Ellinger at that point in time. It was Matt Ryan. They played the Packers, so you give them credit. But if you remember that game, that's the game Aaron Rodgers got hurt and Jordan Love came in. The Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, who scored 40. Whoever the Saints were playing that week, Andy Dalton, Daniel Jones again. I'm sorry, not even Daniel Jones that time. That time it was Davis Webb. Then Daniel Jones again. Then Brock Purdy / Josh Johnson / Brock Purdy on one arm. So, is the Eagles defense ready for Patrick Mahomes? That's the question of the game. Because I give the Eagles credit. However, they were not exactly prepared over the course of the season to play elite quarterbacks. The Chiefs, on the other hand, this year have played I'm not going to, you know what? I will list them all. Kyler, Herbert, Matt Ryan, Brady, Carr, Josh Allen, Jimmy Garoppolo, Malik Willis, I think, for that game. The Prince, Herbert again, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Davis Mills, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, Jared Stidham, the Prince again, Joe Burrow again. So all the top quarterbacks in the league. What do you mean a touch tougher? All of the top quarterbacks, except for Jalen. So we'll see. All right, that was a very long first segment.
We actually got a poll. Some people disagree with you. Not disagree with you, but do the Eagles deserve to be favored against the Chiefs? 53% say yes, 47% say no.
Awesome. All right, appreciate that. We will take a quick break, come back, answer some of your questions in the C block. What's right?
Congratulations on the 100K subscribers on YouTube, Daddy. Maybe this means you could stop talking about LeBron. It's getting kind of old. So is he.
That's great. I appreciate that from Deanna. Your mom is going to fry you, buddy. The hair, the fact that there seemed to be like a bag in the background, she is going to fry you for having that be on the screen. Her hair's not combed. Yeah, that's a good point. She's probably not watching. All right, let's get to the topics. Let's go. Thank you, baby.
All right, Brock Purdy is still being evaluated, but might miss more than 6 months. It's bad news. But Kyle Shanahan said that there was no scenario where Jimmy G will come back to San Francisco. If Trey Lance isn't good enough, maybe San Francisco could get Brady to come back out of retirement again.
Mangini brought that up on the show yesterday, by the way. That Brady could join a team mid-season. Go ahead, though.
But a lot of people had Brady going to Vegas. Could Josh McDaniels end up with Jimmy G instead?
I think that's what's going to happen, right? Except for this.
Rodgers
with Devontae, but the thing with Rodgers, you got to trade for him, as opposed to just like a first-round pick probably, as opposed to signing Jimmy G.
Right.
Jimmy G would also be cheaper. But Devontae Adams, I don't know, is that going to be in the show today? I don't want to step on it too much. Yeah.
I don't think it's in here.
Davante Adams was asked what neighborhood Rodgers is going to live in, and he said mine.
Yeah.
Cutting Derek Carr to sign Jimmy G seems odd. It seems like exchanging a $100 bill for $250s. Like,
right.
Okay, I don't know why, but sure. But maybe it's because, again, Jimmy G knows McDaniel's system to a degree, I guess, because they were together in New England. I think Brady retiring really threw a wrench in the Raiders' plan.
Yeah.
I really believe that. All right, next.
All right, we sadly will not be having a gambling show this week. Sorry to break it to you guys.
But we will for next week. Yep.
But if you're betting on the Pro Bowl, please seek help.
Okay.
There are tons of different ways to bet during the big game, from spreads to props. What is your betting strategy for the Super Bowl? Are there any props that you like to bet on every year? Gatorade, coin toss, national anthem, all that good stuff?
No, but listen.
I'm definitely betting on the coin toss.
Why?
Why wouldn't I? I'm either going to hit or I'm not.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, okay, so hold on. That sounded bad.
Uh-huh.
Like, obviously, every bet that I place, I'm either going to hit or not.
Yeah.
But there's a 50-50. It's very black and white, literally.
Well, not literally. The coin's not black and white.
But you get it. Black and white, heads or tails.
Yeah, but
heads will be black, tails will be white.
But right now we could do that. We could just gamble on a coin. You want me to flip a coin right now?
Yep.
What? Okay. Well, now I'm worried about you.
No.
So you just want something that you have no edge in, no information on. Just bet for the sake of betting. We could just bet like what's the next color of the next car
Is
to
it going
drive
to be
by.
plus money? Is my question.
No, of course not.
Okay.
If it's plus money, the books would go bankrupt. You can't give plus money on a 50-50 thing. It's
Okay.
going to be minus money.
All right, so obviously I wouldn't bet like $100 on a coin toss.
Okay. All right. So here's my advice. Don't do what DeMonte's doing. Let's talk about DeMonte's gambling for a moment here. Because DeMonte yesterday...
$11 that I got from FanDuel.
I understand. Let me finish. DeMonte, was Instagramming.
Look at the crap.
Yeah, this is how I win. DeMonte was Instagramming his NBA teasers yesterday, and then also an NBA parlay. So it is worth noting that his $11 NBA parlay that he needed to go 6 for 6 on, you do know you went 0 for 6, right?
Because the Nets are trash.
No, because all of your bets were trash.
Obviously, if I missed all of them.
Yeah, 0 for 6.
Some of them were close.
But then DeMonte also tweeted out a 15-point or 14-point NBA teaser, which a 14.16 teaser is minus 250. So here's the part of gambling that DeMonte is yet to grasp, and I blame myself. DeMonte hates even money bets. Can't stand minus money bets. Wait, I have to wager. So you're telling me if I bet 20, I would win 15? Gross. No way. However, he somehow, somewhere in his brain, it doesn't make the connection when it comes to minus money bets. Well, but if I just bet a massive amount of money, now the return's great. So he puts together a 16, 14-point teaser and doesn't bet it, correct?
Yeah. No, I'd be sick right now.
He showed $1,000 to win 400 and put on IG, keep an eye out on this. I got scared and backed out. And considering the $11 one would win me the same amount as the $1,000 one would, screw it, right? And one of the legs of the 6-team teaser.
That's the damn Nets.
The Nets plus 23.
23. How do you...
They were down 40
41-13.
Yeah.
Oh, my God,
How sick
dude.
would you have been, buddy?
Oh, nah, man.
It's
just crazy that I also bet against the Celtics on that.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Okay. So please, please, please don't do NBA teasers. I beg of you. Football teasers, there is some value if you do them right. I've been gambling for 25 years. Since I was 13 years old playing my dad in 9-ball for $2 a ball. I've never placed an NBA teaser in my life. They are not good bets. Go ahead.
this might make you feel a little bit better, or not, I don't know. But those bets that I placed last night helped me realize how much more I know about football than I know about basketball now.
Of course, because you've been watching it all season. And if you
It's
start...
much more the scoring isn't so...
Right. Betting the NBA is impossible.
It's tough.
And the
lines are kind of like, they kind of F you over.
Well, there's just so many ways to get screwed at the end.
Yeah.
There are backdoor covers in football. The entirety of NBA betting is backdoor covers. It's just so frustrating. And then teams down, you're getting 7.5, and a team is down 7 with 8 seconds left and decide to foul, even though it's just so mad.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, my guide to betting the Super Bowl is this. If you want to have a bunch of different props. The juice, the vig on these prop bets is so substantial that what some people try to do is like bet uncorrelated props. So like I'll take Mahomes over passing touchdowns and Jalen Hurts over passing yards and do things that don't tell a narrative story, with the idea being, if the Chiefs have a big game, I'll win this one. If the Eagles have a big game, I'll win this one, and leave yourself very little chance to win both, right? That's a terrible idea, in my opinion, when it comes to the Super Bowl, because the juice is so high on these that if you break even, if you make 10 bets and win 5, lose 5, you're going to lose a ton of money because they're minus 120 and minus 125 bets. So the way I would recommend if you want to bet Super Bowl props is figure out the specific script of how you think the game is going to go and make 6 or 7 bets that follow that narrative script. Understanding there is a chance you go over. So, Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl, I did that. Jimmy Garoppolo over interceptions, Patrick Mahomes over passing yards, and the Chiefs to cover, all that stuff. And I hit almost every single bet. The Chiefs-Bucks Super Bowl, I did that, and I literally lost every single bet I placed. So you've got to be prepared for that, but that's how I would recommend doing it.
So you're saying, like, figure out a storyline that you think is going to happen, and
then build your bets accordingly, not randomly, haphazardly. So if you think the Chiefs aren't going to be able to block the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to run the ball down the Chiefs' throat, you bet under on Mahomes' touchdowns. You might bet under on Jalen Hurts' passing yards. You bet over on Philly rushing yards, and you bet under on Chiefs rushing yards because they're going to be trailing and having to throw the football. Right? That's the narrative script. If you think Mahomes
scripted.
No, it's not scripted, but it's the script you think it's going to go by.
Copy.
And so, but we can talk more about that in Monday's gambling show. All right, we've got a game, Devontae.
Yes, this game, 100K recap.
Yeah.
Age just right.
Okay.
I think we're playing 2 different games. Actually, no, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We're celebrating reaching 100,000.
What's this?
Wow. What picture of that?
I don't know, but it's like a fine wine, aging like wine and cheese. Go ahead.
We're celebrating reaching 100,000 subscribers. Let's look back at your takes from episode 1 back in March of last year and see how well they aged.
Okay.
It's called Aged Just Right.
Okay.
First off, we got Brady retirement. We had to re-record our first show due to some breaking news. Brady came out of retirement after 40 days to ruin our weekend plans. You were a fan. You weren't a fan. Let's see it. We're going to show a little thing for the folks on YouTube.
Ever. Let me hear
it's worse than either of Jordan's, anything Favre did.
Matt,
Roger Clemens and George's box. It's worse than that. So this is the worst retirement.
Worst retirement ever. I mean, because it was a fake retirement. Yeah, I think that aged right. I stand by that take. This was the worst retirement. I mean, he retired for 40 days.
So since you're saying that was the worst retirement, this next question's easy.
Yeah.
This retirement was much better than that.
Well, yeah, of course, because this retirement's going to be a real retirement. It's going to keep. All
what
right.
if it ends up not being a real retirement?
Well, that would be wild. But that did happen with Jordan. Jordan unretired years later, so we'll see. All right, next.
All right, Kyrie has popped up quite a bit on the show and even in episode 1. So let's see it.
All right, Kyrie Irving, what are we doing?
Kyrie Irving is growing on you, exhausting you, or he's not relevant at all.
Okay, this one's very easy. Exhausting me. I don't think he's going to be eligible for home games, and I don't think the Nets are getting out of round one. And they can find other people to blame, but this is Kyrie's choice from beginning to end. All right, Kyrie Irving.
That aged pretty well.
I think it. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask the rest of the question, but I think that aged beautifully.
Yeah, but that was about 5 scandals ago.
Uh-huh.
A year later, the Nets are looking good, and he's been averaging 27, 5, and 5 this year. Is it possible this take won't age well?
No, I don't think. No, I mean, and also,
because that was about last season.
But also, it's just that, he's a spectacular talent. It's not a winning player. Yesterday's a great example. You're playing Boston. The fans are out to get you. They swept you out of the playoffs last year. You don't have Durant, and you're down 39-9.
That's like scripted for Kyrie Irving to go off.
Exactly right. It's just like this should be, even if you don't win, you know what I mean? For a night, be the best player on the court.
Right.
And instead, the team came out with no energy, no nothing, and got their asses kicked. All right, next.
All right, so you asked me to keep you one promise in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see it.
Well, first
We'll
episode,
play
you're going to
back.
help me stay to this. I'm done. I'm out on Black and Milds. You have to keep me honest. If
Right.
you catch me smoking a Black and Mild, you have to tell the audience.
Yeah, this is on record. So
This one's on record, so we're in. So Black and Mild's out.
All right, that wasn't great.
yeah,
I haven't done a great job. You haven't done a great job.
I definitely haven't been snitching on you.
No, and I haven't done a great job.
Look at that,
I
my
need to
hair
do
was
better.
amazing, dude.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, no, I'm growing it.
You're
it's
growing
coming
it back out? Okay, all right, last one, I guess.
All right. Do you remember our first argument on this show?
No. What was it? Let me see.
It was about KD being a better scorer than.
Oh,
LeBron.
so dumb. Let me.
Yeah.
Do we have video of it?
Yes, we definitely
Let me
do.
see this. God, that's
Kevin
a bad
Durant is
take.
easily a better scorer than LeBron James, but you watch Kevin Durant play. And
I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
I forgot that's how that went.
how is that aged now that LeBron's literally about to become the greatest scorer in the history of the league? I'm just curious. He's about to pass Kareem for all-time points. In the season, he's still averaging 30 points a game. More available than Durant, too. How's your take aged?
When I say scoring, I mean 3-point, like all that stuff. Like LeBron obviously gets a lot of these layups and foul calls and stuff. So
Well, he doesn't get a lot of foul calls anymore, as illustrated by that Celtics game.
No way.
But so you mean shooting?
KD's probably missed more time with injury than LeBron has.
Yeah, well, it's important to be available for your teammates.
Right.
So you mean shooting, not scoring?
Shooting, scoring. I mean, I bet you. I bet you if LeBron James at the beginning of the season and KD at the beginning of the season, they both just play to the end of the season, nobody gets hurt, KD outscores LeBron this season. And they're about the same age. What, KD's like 3 years younger?
4 years younger.
4?
Yeah, maybe 5. I'm not
They're
sure.
about.
But okay. I
Hey,
don't
dude,
know.
peak scoring KD is better than peak scoring LeBron. To me, in my opinion.
No, I mean,
Maybe I'm
that's
just
fine.
acting like
record. I
LeBron.
mean, record book says something differently, but maybe that's what you think.
Longevity.
How many points per game do you think Kevin Durant averages for his
28?
career?
Oh, career?
For his career.
Yeah, I'd say about 27, 28.
Okay, how many do you think LeBron averages?
I don't know.
So Kevin Durant for his career is 27.3.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and check LeBron James for his career is 27.2. So they average the exact same amount of points. And this year, LeBron is averaging 30.2 and KD's averaging 29.7. So I don't know. Seems like,
Yeah.
what are you laughing about? What's so funny? I'm just curious.
Yeah, what were I think one of those numbers was higher than the other one.
27.3 versus 27.2?
Yeah,
We're doing the 10th of a
Who had
point thing?
27.3? Was that KD?
For now, yes, KD is ahead of him by a 10th of a point. But I knew that. My point is the idea that Durant's this generational scorer, I agree with, but I would think the guy who averages the exact same amount of points and has done it far longer, I don't know. And I wonder, hold on, career shooting percentage, by the way,
You had fewer points, but
Durant is 49.8 and LeBron is 50.5. So they average the exact same amount of points, and LeBron's slightly more efficient. I don't know. Seems relevant to me. Answer your questions next. What's right?
I wanted to congratulate you all on 100,000 subscribers. It's Danny Parkins, an occasional but not nearly frequent enough contributor. Nick, congrats, man. You truly are the Julius Irving of your own show. And by that I mean, by my count, you are the 11th most important person for the show getting to 100,000 followers. Chance comes in at number 10, Kara at 9, Victor at 8, Gabe Goodwin comes in at number 7. You got the dog bump by having your very cute dog Dexter. Deanna coming in at number 5, the set designer at Trintage. Then, of course, Matt Ford, the executive producer, one of the best producers in the business. Wheezy comes in at number 2, Demonze at number 1. So congrats Demonze and crew, and Julius Irving, a.k.a. Nick Wright. Man, maybe at 200,000 you could crack your own top 10.
You text me yesterday asking me, is Matt the executive producer of the show? That's why. That's why.
Exactly why.
He didn't tell me why he was asking me. Yeah, he asked me. And Matt, I told him I didn't know if it was you or Gabe. I didn't know. I don't know how the titles work at Blue Duck. So yeah, he asked me. All right, by the way, speaking of hitting the 100,000, we did it at the top of the show, but I do really, really appreciate the folks, especially the folks who've been here from the very beginning, and the new folks as well. It's a really hell of an accomplishment, and it was kind of a pie-in-the-sky goal for us to hit within the first year. I'm super excited about it. There's Demonze holding money and a plaque. Right now, he has neither.
Yeah.
All right, you want to read the fan questions? Go ahead.
Okay.
Do you have them? Just go ahead and let's just go ahead and go to the fan questions.
Yeah. Yep. All right, J.D. Watson said, realistically, what does Mahomes' resume have to look like to be considered the GOAT?
I think he's allowed to be in the discussion once he gets to 4 rings. I think because, you still have some people that think Montana's better than Brady. Montana's got 4. You have I think the fact of the matter is, if he gets to 4 rings and it has you look across other sports, like Jordan doesn't have the most rings. He has the second most rings, and he's considered by many the GOAT, right? Like you don't always have to match the ring count, but you can't be in the Rodgers situation where you have all these regular season accolades and only 1 championship. So winning this year would put him, I think, on track to do it, but he's also got to play for a very long time. Go ahead.
People are so obsessed with not admitting that they're witnessing greatness right now.
I know.
Like, they like saying that the best was a long time ago.
Of course. Yeah, it's so irritating. I totally agree.
Not you, though, JD.
All right, next.
But Bear Band said, Nick and Devontae, if Ravens let go of Lamar, what are the chances the 49ers can get him? Congrats on 100,000 followers or subscribers. This is my first time watching live, but I have watched most of your podcasts.
Well, thank you so much, Bear Bands. I think the Niners have basically no chance of getting Lamar. Look, he's not going to be let go of. He might be traded. If he's traded, it will be for a massive haul, and the Niners don't have the assets.
Right.
So they traded picks for Trey Lance, and then they traded picks for Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
So I would say the Niners have basically no chance of getting Lamar. Next.
All right, Furious to George said, did Demonze get his significant cash bonus for hitting 100,000 subscribers? That's the real question.
Not yet. He will.
It's the real.
He's getting that bonus. I commit to everyone. He's getting that bonus when he gets the plaque. It's going to be a whole ceremony that we do all at once, okay? So, but I'm not welching, but I have not yet paid it out. Next.
All right, Sky Luke Walker said, does Demonze know he wouldn't have to wear 2 pairs of pants if he didn't have big holes in the knees? Yeah, dude, it's cold outside, so I just prefer to mix it up with you guys. I don't want you guys to see the same black jeans every time. I also don't want to wear shorts, so I'm trying to give you a little preview of
Demonze does not like when he gets roasted for his sartorial decisions.
Oh no, at this point I actually don't mind it. These guys just don't have as much drip as me, and that's understood. But yeah, it keeps me warm, and like I said, the black pants need a break every once in a while. I can't just keep wearing them.
All right, last one. Go ahead.
All right, Matt Ford asked, so heads or tails, we'll flip a coin in the control room to settle your bet.
All right, you want to do it?
Let's put $20 on it right now.
Why don't we put your whole bonus?
Let's do it.
No, see, that is a problem.
I knew you were bluffing.
I would do it, but that is a problem. If you would say that. Don't flip any coin.
Hold on, no, wait, flip the coin though.
Hold on.
I've got heads.
All right, flip it. This is for nothing? Hold on.
This is for absolutely nothing.
This is for nothing. Let's just see. This could have been for
And
2,000
wait. I have a question. How are we flipping it? Are we doing the flip,
catch, and then
or
whatever?
Are we just straight up on the surface?
Yeah, we're doing the catch and flip. Yes.
Oh.
Heads or tails? Call it.
I've still got heads. Let's go.
Go, Matt. Let's see. This is why people watch on YouTube. Hold on. That one didn't count. Don't say what it is. You didn't even catch it, Matt. This is pathetic. There it is. Heads or tails? What is it? What is it, Matt?
Let's go. That would have been, man.
See, look at him. Look at how mad he is. Look at how mad he is. Great show. Love you guys. See you guys on Monday with a listener and viewer-based show. What's right? Hey, it's Nick Wright. Thank you so much for watching. Please do us a favor. Click subscribe. It helps my ego. And DeMonte's got a financial bonus writing on a number of YouTube subscribers, so help him out. And also, click the bell. I don't know what the bell does, but they tell me to tell you to click the bell. And audio listeners, people that have commutes, drives, whatever it is, subscribe to the podcast as well, wherever you get the podcast. Same show, just in your ears instead of through your eyes. All that, check it out. Appreciate y'all.